PlayStation Portal becomes not useless. Nvidia gets better on Linux, and they get more expensive, or that they're gonna cost more. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're gonna be going over the hottest tech news that I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Thursday, November 21st, 2024. We're gonna start off today talking about a little update that Sony made to the PlayStation Portal, giving it more functionality. Some people would say functionality it should have had at launch, but roughly a year out from when it debuted, it can now actually stream games from the cloud, not just from your local PS5. You do have to have a PS Plus subscription, but that gives you access to over 120 titles that you can stream to the device over Wi-Fi so that you can use it while on the go. The Dad Station 5 getting a major upgrade. However, Sony does note that this is still in beta. That's not the only change that came with the Portal 4.0 firmware update. Kyler actually told me that this was a big deal for how he uses his PlayStation Portal, and that is they've adjusted the volume level of the speaker, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but the lowest volume level on the PlayStation Portal is too dang loud, and so they've made it so that the volume level can go down so that it's a little bit more tolerable when you're just trying to play games at night in bed next to your significant other and they don't want to hear all of that. So good changes to the Dad Station 5. I like to see that all of this is happening, but as I'm predicting the comments right now, you're into PC gaming. I get it, which is why, for PC gamers, I'm bringing you today's video sponsor. While building a PC can be fun, it can be intimidating, and definitely not for everyone. For a lot of PC gamers out there, they just want something that's ready to game. Thanks to today's sponsor, Jawa, you can choose from hundreds of sellers building custom gaming PCs. With prices better than other pre-built companies, Jawa's builds deliver great quality with off-the-shelf components powering your custom gaming system. Best of all, you don't have to plug anything in except the power cable to the wall. Jawa's PC Finder makes it easy to find your ideal PC based on your budget and what games you're looking to play. Searching for a Fortnite-capable PC in the $700 to $1,500 range and allowing for used parts gave us some great options, like this $1,150 PC with a 7600X and a 4060 Ti 8K. The PC we found is also listed from one of Jawa's verified sellers, meaning the team at Jawa has taken the time to ensure that this is a trusted seller who can deliver amazing value for both completed builds and individual components. Once you get your PC, you might also have some questions. Thankfully, Jawa has a huge community on Discord with over 10,000 members that can offer great advice to both first-time buyers and fellow enthusiasts who are just in a pickle. Make your PC gaming experience easy with a pre-built PC from Jawa today by clicking the link in the description below. You gotta stay tuned from November 6th through the end of the year for great deals on Jawa, and be sure to create an account and subscribe for flash sales, giveaways, and deals this holiday season, and keep a special eye out from November 22nd through the 29th for incredible deals on builds, components, and peripherals for Jawa's deals of the day. Well, we're probably not gonna see Qualcomm devices on Jawa anytime soon just because they're not really out in the market. However, Qualcomm CEO wants us to know that they're gonna be a big deal. He came out and said that they should be at about $4 billion in sales by 2029, which is exactly what AMD did just last year. So they're trying to say that they're gonna be a major player in the market moving forward, especially with their new Snapdragon X Elite chips. They're so fast, it's really good. However, you have to reckon with the fact that number one, X Elite chips just kind of didn't perform up to snuff, especially in the graphics department, which is why yesterday they came out with a new graphics driver update for these Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite chips, only if you have a Microsoft Surface device. So it looks like their graphics drivers are gonna be partitioned based on which OEM you're using, which is something that happens in certain sectors. It kind of happens in things like gaming handhelds, like they're more device specific, but typically, with AMD drivers on a laptop, you're just installing the generic one. Nvidia's the generic one, but no, Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite for Microsoft Surface devices only is what got the improvements to things like gaming, productivity, all of that, unless you listen to people who installed it on Reddit and they said that it didn't change anything. So Qualcomm obviously has a ways to go before we could even think that they're gonna come close to what AMD is doing now. I would like to see it. I wanna see more competition. Obviously, we also have MediaTek and Nvidia marching down the reins to potentially bring us some sort of competitor to Intel and AMD as well. I wanna see it. But it's been a hot mess so far, which is also what happened with a couple game launches yesterday. Microsoft Flight Simulator and Stalker 2 came out yesterday, and didn't go well. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 was a big deal because one of the things that it's known for is that it streams the data in, and you have to download the game via the in-game service. So that caused some strain on the servers, which made it so that people couldn't actually play the game. Too many users trying to connect at the same time. They were suffering from success. They would get it so that it could get into the game, but then they couldn't actually proceed with the download, and it made it so that it was very difficult. People would get to 97% completion, and then it would stop, making it a whole buggy mess, and essentially something that Microsoft created themselves by forcing this new download scheme within Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. But also another disappointment that came out yesterday was Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. A lot of people have been anticipating this sequel for well over a decade. It's had multiple delays and finally released yesterday, and the Metacritic score is showing about a 74, but based on the takes that I saw on the internet, mostly it's a gorgeous game with tons of bugs, lots of hiccups, lots of issues. I've seen some people say it's boring. I've seen some people critique the gameplay. I went on the Stalker 2 subreddit to kind of understand what do fans of the original Stalker think, and the sentiment that I got from Stalker 1 fans was, we're so back, baby. This is exactly what we expected. A buggy mess. We love this game. So let me know what you think of Stalker 2 or Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 if you tried to get into that. I want to hear from you down below in the comments while Reece brings you the deals today.
Yo, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals out on the internet. And you know what we do here? It's deals. Starting off today, we have this Corsair IQ Link H170i. This absolutely massive 420mm AIO CPU liquid cooler is going for only $99.99, making it $100 off. Seriously, before you even consider buying this thing, just make sure it will fit in your computer, because that's our big boy. But then next up, we have the ever-reliable Apple AirPods Pro 2. I daily drive these things just because they're so convenient and they work seamlessly between my devices. But you can pick one up for only $159.99, making it $90 off. And then lastly, for those looking for an alternative to the ASRock monitor we showed off yesterday, you can grab LG's take on it. This LG 34-inch 1440p 160Hz curved ultra-wide nano IPS gaming monitor is going for only $329, making it $420 off. And hey, with that, the deals are done. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, I'm gonna hand you off back to Brett for the rest of your hot news. Cheers.
Well, Reece, Valve's given us a great deal when it comes to gaming on Linux. They're implementing a new update to Proton, making it so that it actually works better with Nvidia. Nvidia's DLSS 3 getting an update in the latest Proton experimental patch, making it so that optical flow and frame generation now work. Now, a lot of people don't want those fake frames. I completely understand, but this is just showing that Valve is committed to making gaming on Linux more and more accessible, even when their own Linux gaming device, like the Steam Deck, is based on AMD Radeon. So this is something that Valve is doing just for the good of the community, not necessarily just to benefit themselves on hardware devices, or it could be a hint at SteamOS coming out for regular gaming PCs and they're gonna support Nvidia GPUs. I'd love to see it. But we also got more Steam news because a well-known Valve enthusiast who's kind of always digging through the archives of trying to find out what Valve's doing in the hardware sector found out that the Steam Controller 2, codenamed Ibex, is apparently going into mass production. Now, this is different than the more recently released Steam Controller that was co-produced by Hori. That's a separate thing. This looks to be a new Steam Controller like the one that had those haptic touchpads, kind of similar to what we see on the Steam Deck right now. The original Steam Controller didn't really go over well. They fire sailed it for $5 back in the day. Maybe now with the success of the Steam Deck, we could see a little bit higher adoption rates, or they figured things out with ergonomics to make the Steam Controller 2 more betterer and something that people want around. But also with this indication, there was some discussion of the upcoming Deckard headset, which is going to be Valve's standalone VR headset. It's in development is what we know about it right now. And we also know that Nvidia is in development on their upcoming gaming GPUs, the RTX 50 series. We're expecting a debut at CES, and now we're getting details out from Lenovo that you shouldn't necessarily expect that they're gonna get cheaper, especially if you're looking at the budget side of things. So this is a Lenovo rep talking about the mobile RTX 5050, specifically saying that the RTX 4050 is not going out of production. So the 5050 won't be taking the 4050's price point, and instead it's gonna be a higher price, probably something something more akin to where the 4060 is lying right now, is where the 5050 is going to come in. So that's a general idea that we're seeing here, is that Nvidia might hike up the price when it comes to not just the gaming GPUs on desktop. There's been rumors that have been floating around recently that the RTX 5090 should cost roughly, I think it was $1799. I don't necessarily trust the rumor that led to that being produced on the news. So I wouldn't necessarily hold that one in your heart, especially because as EVGA told us, Nvidia changes things at the last second. So even if the 5090 right now is speculated to be $1799, that doesn't mean that's what they're gonna launch with. They could change that the day before and make it more expensive or less expensive. But it appears on the budget side of things, there's gonna be a price bump, a class price bump to the 5050, which is a bummer for everybody involved. And you guys were pretty involved with yesterday's episode of Hot News by typing in the comments, so let's see what you said. A lot of people addressing the Microsoft 365 link thin client nonsense. I mean, a lot of people saying that it's ridiculously expensive, a Raspberry Pi 5 would give you more utility, it's a solution looking for a problem, it's a privacy nightmare, they don't want us to own our devices, they want us to rent them. I think we're all kind of on the same page there. You either can go lower end on the price point to something like a Raspberry Pi to make it so that you're spending way less money than 350 bucks, or if you just spend like 150 bucks more, you're getting an M4 Mac Mini that's so much more capable even on a local side of things. And so the 365 link is it's a very niche product. I think there's probably a business out there who's like, this solves their problem and it's fantastic for them. But for the regular consumer and for Microsoft to just like publicly announce this as if it's an exciting new entry, I think it misses the mark. Then we got Maddie saying AMD, advanced mobile devices. And King saying, I do like AMD in the phones to boost gaming performance compared to the Snapdragon series, since the phone gaming is evolving. And I hear that, but as a lot of other people pointed out, this is not AMD's first foray into gaming GPUs on mobile. So Snapdragon has the Adreno GPU. That's because AMD sold them the rights to that. And Adreno is just an anagram of Radeon. So that's Qualcomm's already using AMD technology. Samsung licensed RDNA 2 for their Exynos. So like AMD's already got its fingers in the pie. Obviously the Adreno is like so far detached from where AMD sold that off way back when. So it's not the same thing, but it's just funny that AMD continually tries to get into the phone market, which kind of gives the indication that they're trying to get into it again, a little bit more veracity in its truthiness. And we got Nicholas saying, I'm not always here, just often, and often on the Twitch channel where I can get some peek on some eventual short videos and how the B-rolls are made. Nicholas, thank you for shouting out our Twitch channel. We do have our Bleed Purple statue that Twitch gave us. We are currently running a giveaway for a Thermaltake Tower 600 PC with a 9950X and a 4080 Super. So if you want a PC like this, you should come check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/UFD Tech. We love to have you over there. We're streaming all the time. Anyways, I'll be back here with more of the hottest tech news tomorrow.